What's up, everybody? Lou from Hypocritic back on the show floor at PAX East 2024. We are here with Ben from 100 Stones Interactive to talk about Memories Reach. Thanks so much for taking some time.
Thank you very much. Thanks for playing.
So, in your own words, tell us about Memories Reach.
So, Memories Reach is an adventure puzzle cross metroidvania. So, it's about exploring the world, solving puzzles, and as you solve the main puzzle in each area, you'll get a new ability, which will give you like a new way of moving through the world or a new tool for solving different kinds of puzzles. So, like any good Metroidvania, the world gradually expands and opens up over time as you get more and more abilities. But unlike a Metroidvania, this one's puzzle-based, so it's more about solving puzzles and exploration than combat.
Now, I want to lean into the puzzle-based kind of angle of this game because that is really its primary and most interesting kind of hook. Mm-hmm. Why the decision to make it more of a puzzle-based experience as opposed to maybe a more, when you say traditional action-based Metroidvania experience?
Well, I mean, in part, it's a one-person project, mostly. So I'm doing it all myself. All the art, the code, the design, the sound and music, and the writing's outsourced, but the rest is me. So a lot of it is keeping scope down. My last game was a puzzle game. That's a genre that's manageable for one person. As you start entering combat and characters and animation, it gets all out of crazy. So yeah, I want to do something that I can actually achieve on my own. Puzzle game is a genre that is within that kind of scope. Something I enjoy doing. My background is in environment art, so I like building interesting environments to explore. So that's kind of what I squish all those things together, and that's what you get. Yes.
Very practical approach,
yeah.
Right? Absolutely. Now, in terms of your past experience then, you just said you have done puzzle-based games before. How has your previous development experience and kind of game-building experience informed how Memories Reach is coming together?
Yeah, so my last game from my studio was called The Eyes of Ara. That was also an adventure puzzle game, but that was more sort of point-and-click focused. It was my first game learning the program as well, so we kept it very, very simple. Hence point-and-click, very small. This one I wanted to expand on that. I wanted to go free-form exploration, let the player walk around everywhere, and build the puzzles into the world more with this one. So it's more of an interactive environment to explore.
And I think that really shows when you play through the demo, which is available on Steam now, correct?
Yep, just came out on Steam now. So yeah.
In case people want to check it out. So then in terms of digging into that puzzle gameplay just a bit deeper, it's an interesting mechanic because players are going to approach and sort of understand how to tackle it differently. So when you're designing puzzle elements for a game, how do you kind of strike that balance between being too challenging and maybe a little too difficult to figure out and being too easy and the player not feeling like they're being challenged?
Yeah, a lot of it just comes down to play testing, to be honest. It's just getting it in front of people, getting them to play it, see what they have trouble with, see what they pick up on, and then iterating and refining it so it makes sense. A big challenge in it is really just communicating what the puzzle is and the mechanics to the player, and making sure there's no superfluous elements around there that might confuse them or lead them in the wrong direction unintentionally. And that really just comes down to playtesting and making sure that it's understandable. So, yeah.
Makes a lot of sense, and certainly very handy for shows like PAX to get that player feedback. We've been asking a lot of developers this weekend about their experience kind of on the convention circuit, getting their games in front of players and watching them go at it, right? So kind of a two-parter. Has Memories Reach been at trade shows other than PAX previously? And how has the player feedback been here in terms of players tackling the puzzles, figuring out the demo, things like that?
Yeah, so this is the second major show I've done. The first one was PAX Australia, end of last year. It was a similar version of this, like an earlier version of this demo. Interestingly, I approached PAX as a means of getting the game in front of people to get them excited about it and then get them to go and wishlist it. I don't see it necessarily as a playtesting session. I like the idea that my game is robust and well tested before I take it to PAX. That being said, there are hundreds of people coming through here. So inevitably, the most obscure bugs you would never find always come up at a trade show like this. So it is still useful for playtesting, even if that's not its entire purpose, I suppose.
Yeah, always some value to glean, right? Definitely. So you mentioned past work as an environment artist, and that sort of being how you brought up in it a little bit. I think it very clearly shows in the design of the game and the visuals and the world that you build in it. It looks very striking. A kind of space brutalism you described it as while I was playing. Can you tell me a little bit more about how that art style came together and how you started building out the sort of visuals in the world of the game?
Yeah, so I wanted something that was very striking and imposing. So I was going for very large, bold structures, very sharp geometric lines. Then I wanted to mix that with a really cool kind of like neon sci-fi aesthetic. And then the idea behind the world was this advanced alien civilization that disappeared many eons ago, and now the world has kind of reclaimed a bit of the world, the land around it. So it's a bit overgrown. A lot of the rock and stuff has crumbled down on top of it. It's almost like the structure is now protruding out from the natural world around it, and sort of blending all that together. It's been a fun experiment.
And it was really interesting to sort of explore it and sort of peel back all those layers as you sort of walk through the demo and understand how the puzzles integrate with the environment specifically. Can you talk about some of the challenges and maybe some of the experiences you had in starting to mesh those elements together to try to get that seamless blend of environment and puzzle-based gameplay working together?
Yeah, so it's particularly hard in this game. So designing an environment to be a puzzle it's a challenge, but it's doable. But because this game is also a metroidvania, you have to be able to backtrack through the level with new abilities and take shortcuts and find secrets you couldn't get before. So not only do I have to design the environment to be a puzzle, but I have to design it with these additional layers on top for when you come back and backtrack through. But they can't be too obvious, or they might confuse players as to what's part of the puzzle and what's not. So it's like an additional challenge on top of that, which is hard, but a lot of fun to work out as a designer. So I'm really enjoying making the levels for it. It's quite a fun challenge for myself to put together.
And it sounds like a really good exercise to try to put all those pieces together. Was there anything else in the sort of development process thus far? Because I believe you said it's been about 2 years that it's been in the oven for. Have there been any other interesting sort of aspects or challenges to the design and programming process that you maybe didn't expect or that have been unique to Memories Reach relative to other work you've done?
To some extent. So my last game was, like I said, it was point and click style. I kept it very simple because I had no coding experience going into it, so I had to teach myself how to program. This game being my second game, I felt more confident. I wanted to expand things a bit. So I had a free roaming character controller. You can walk around the place, full first-person controls. So there have been new challenges for me personally as a programmer that's still developing my skills. But I wouldn't say there's anything too out there because I deliberately kept it fairly reserved. I didn't do like a third-person character with a whole bunch of animation or anything. I didn't do anything too crazy. Definitely trying to keep it manageable for myself and my skill level as it is currently. Yeah.
It's all about scope, right?
Yeah.
It's really important. Now, maybe if we can dig under the hood just briefly, it's a gorgeous game in motion. I think it does look really, really great. Can you talk a little bit about the underlying technology that's sort of powering Memories Reach and how you're kind of bringing it to life that way?
Yeah, so it's built in Unity using the Universal Render Pipeline. I don't know what else to say about that. I guess it's a nice, powerful engine. Sometimes it gets a bad rap for indie games, but I think it's quite a capable engine. It can do some really nice looking work, and I think I have delivered on some nice work. People seem to like it, which is good. But yeah, I mean, basically it draws a lot on my experience making environments over the last 20-ish years, almost at this point. So yeah, it's built upon all that experience, 3D modeling experience, texturing, materials, all that.
That is a lot of time to be working in that space. So how did you get into the sort of environment art space in the first place? What sort of drew you to that as your sort of arc through time?
So I did a university degree in video games, and it was an art-focused degree. Some people went into characters. I built some characters back at uni as well. I also built some environments, and I found that I just really liked building environments, and that's just kind of the way it went.
Okay, nice and straightforward, right? Sometimes you just know.
Yeah.
And then this all comes together, of course, in not only the demo, which is again available on Steam here, but it will be, in the final product. When is that coming out, and on what platforms?
It's the eternal question. So I'm aiming for late 2024 as a predominantly one-person project. I don't want to make any guarantees about that. It will be done when it's done. But I'm aiming to get it out end of this year. It'll launch on PC and Mac, on Steam, and probably some other stores, which I'll announce later on. And then probably 6 to 12 months after that, I'll work on the console ports. So it'll be all the major consoles, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch, or Switch 2 possibly by that stage. Who knows?
All right, fantastic. And if players are interested, they can go wishlist it on Steam right now?
Yeah. So the demo, as I said, is up on Steam now. Can you get people to check it out, give it a wish list, follow along. The demo that's on Steam is the one that's here at the show. I will continue to update it over time and release new demos as development continues as well. So, yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking some time. Awesome demo.
Thanks a lot.
Memories Reach here at PAX East. Keep it tuned here for more from PAX East 2024 all weekend long.